There are 4 foundations that we need to work on to allow you to be able to boost your testosterone naturally going into your late 30s, your 40s, and your 50s, so that you can potentially not need to go down the route of TRT, or if you are on TRT and you're not getting the results you want, you allow your body to be able to work more effectively to feel like you have those optimal levels of testosterone that you quite frankly deserve with the effort that you're putting in. Now, I've been working with clients for nearly 20 years, working on functional medicine for years now, just individually, and specifically working with guys, working with men's health and allowing them to boost their testosterone levels. And they are getting results left, right, and center by following these 4 foundations that I truly feel that every single person needs to have optimal health, regardless of whether you're using TRT or you're not using TRT, or you want to go down that route, or you want to just boost it naturally. And those 4 foundations, the first one is to heal your gut with the right nutrition. Too many people, when we get into our late 30s, our 40s, our 50s, we've been through some stress. I don't care who you are. Some people have been through severe trauma. Some people say they haven't been through trauma, but their body has been through stress. Environmental stress, physical stress, emotional stress, all these things, your body just sees as stress. And your gut has its own nervous system, the enteric nervous system. And the more stressed it is, lower level of absorption that it wants to actually have. So we need to focus on that and work on absorbing nutrients better. If we are putting food in our mouth, we need to be able to get it into our system. So we need to be able to have good gut health, be able to get those building blocks, and be able to create good testosterone levels. There are some certain signs that your gut is off. Things such as you are bloating randomly. You have food, sometimes you bloat, sometimes you don't bloat. Sometimes it feels like it takes 12 hours to digest a meal. Maybe you have food and then you suddenly need to run to the toilet. Maybe you don't go to the toilet for multiple days, you're constipated. Maybe it's that you feel energized after meals, or you feel really tired after meals. Maybe it's that big one that you get heartburn, or acid reflux, as a lot of people call it. And then you have a lansoprazole or omeprazole, which is another issue in itself with causing low testosterone. And we need to fix those things to allow your body the best chance to be able to absorb the nutrients and create good levels of testosterone. If you're also getting cravings, if you are finding that you have food and then you crave more food, or you get to the evening and you're craving food, that is a sign your gut isn't where it needs to be. And in order to work through this, it's so surprising. In fact, it's not surprising nowadays. We want the quick fix, right? I want a quick fix. But all these influencers saying you don't need to have fiber. You absolutely do need to have fiber. It is going to help you with your blood glucose management. It is going to help you with your gut health. If you go for years without good levels of fiber, you are going to suffer the consequences. And that consequence will be a knock-on impact of your testosterone levels. If people are telling you that you can go carnivore and do this carnivore diet and you feel energized, that is a sign that your gut is off. Just the same as if you went plant-based and people say, oh, you've just cut out all these these animal meats, these animal foods, and you feel good, that is a sign you haven't got good levels of stomach acid to be able to digest those meats. Your body is clever. It leaves clues. We need to work with those clues and listen to it. I don't believe that anyone should be cutting out whole food groups. We should be able to optimize and have a good balance of food groups throughout. Good protein, good carbohydrates, and good fats. But we need to have good diversity. So many parents are complaining about their children not eating vegetables, and then they're not eating vegetables themselves. We need to do better. I see my daughter, and she's under a year old, and she's already copying things that I do. We need to show up as those role models and they're the sponges. They need to be able to absorb the influence that is positive. And one of those things is eating a good amount of vegetables. Get your greens in. And get good diversity in, get variation with your vegetables. One thing I do with clients is have good vegetable ice cubes, where we just blitz loads of different veg, put them into ice cubes, and then just blend them in a protein shake to get 20, 30 different types of veg in every single day. You can do it. Then we also need to go time without eating, not extended fasts, but so many times people are having drinks through the day that have calories in them. They're literally going 20, 30 minutes without even having calories. We need to go hours without eating. Have gaps between meals, and especially in the evening, have something like a 10 to 12 hour fast minimum. Not everyone will do well with intermittent fasting, but we need to make sure that we are having time for your body to be able to digest the food, to detoxify, to clear out, and be able to get rid of the waste side of things. And then on that note as well, waste. Stop eating so much processed food. Now, there's this big demonization of ultra processed food. I'm not a believer of like having this high levels of ultra processed food. Like if you have 6 ingredients in a food, it becomes ultra processed, but it's not rocket science. The further away we eat foods from how that food was actually created, the less nutrient rich it will be. It's not to say cut out all these processed foods every single day, every single minute of every single day, but make the majority of your foods single ingredient foods. High levels of protein, high levels of good quality carbohydrates, and high levels of good quality fats. Then cut the alcohol out. The damage that alcohol is doing on your gut is drastic. It's going to impact your sleep. It's going to impact your body's ability to recover. It's going to impact your body's ability to detoxify. It's going to cause a lot more excess stress, and it's going to lower your testosterone levels. People saying they can't have fun without alcohol, that's another conversation in itself. I'm not a therapist for that side of things. We need to work on getting the right enzymes to support your digestion, and we need to work on being able to manage your stress with breath work to be able to digest our food. You can test your gut lining. You can do different tests. I do GI maps, I do GI 360s, GI effects from different labs to test your gut lining. But you can also look at blood tests. What does your cholesterol panel say? You've got a good diet, but your LDL is raised. That's going to tell me that something's going on inside your gut. Why is your body not absorbing iron, but there's high levels of iron going around? Why is your body not absorbing the V12, the folate, all these things? Looking at testing leaves clues. Test, don't guess. I always say it. The second step is support with the right supplementation for both micronutrient and macronutrient deficiencies. It's not as easy as seeing an influencer or just listening to a Huberman Lab and having NAD Plus or NMN and these sorts of things, or going down and buying David Beckham's latest marketing gimmick. Supplementation is individual, and supplementation will change on the individual based throughout the year. There are some supplements that I have year round, magnesium glycinate, I have a fatty acid, I usually have some kind of adaptogenic herb. I usually have vitamin D3 and K2 in there. And then I'll have some base level multivitamin just to cross the T's and dot the I's. But then sometimes I'll be bringing glutathione in, resveratrol, turmeric. I might then be putting other levels of aminos in. I might be putting taurine, I might be putting theanine, different things in there. But that depends on what chapter I'm going through when I talk about 4 Seasons health. We need to look at your blood work. How is your iron? How is your cholesterol? How is your red blood cell status? How is your inflammation? How is your thyroid function? How are your hormones? These things are going to tell us a little bit more of what we need to supplement with. And testing every 6 to 12 months, minimum 12 months, but ideally every 6 months to prevent. Like, we don't want to be reactive. We want to be proactive here. We can look at nutrient deficiency testing. You can get a Metabolomics Plus test from Genova Labs, but you end up spending a few £100 on testing that way. If you want to just completely say, hey, these are exactly those nutrients that I know that I need to improve and grab the supplements for, great, grab those testing. But you can look at a basic blood work. You can look at food diaries. You can see what we actually need to do when we look at how your body feels, how your energy is, what the dips are like, all these things. Third thing, train with intent. So many people are going into the gym nowadays, scrolling through Instagram between sets, having 10 minutes between sets, going in and doing 3 sets of bicep curls. Just because you're in the gym for 45 minutes doesn't mean you're doing 45 minutes worth of work. People say they're not getting the results. Go in, keep your phone in your bag, or put it on airplane mode, or whatever it is you need to do, and do the work. Lift heavy. Have it short. Have it focused. Have recovery as a priority. Go in and do the minimum, do the work, get it done and get out of there. But the big thing I see so many people doing that people get wrong when it comes to boosting their testosterone is just training weights. They're pushing themselves in weights. Great. It helps us with muscle mass. But we also want to have a level of cardiovascular fitness. It is absolutely pointless to be strong, to be lean, and then you go to grab your daughter and run up the stairs and you're out of breath. What's the point of that? We need to work on your heart muscle. We need to work on getting that strong, get your heart strong, get your cardiovascular system, get that truly, truly strong and fit. It's not to say you need to go and run marathons, but do a little bit of HIIT training each week. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, just do it a couple of times a week at the end of sessions. Work on your overall health. And this is coming from someone that never used to do much cardio and then went full on to endurance when I was working with performance nutrition for professional endurance athletes. You need to have the best of both worlds here. That is going to help you with your testosterone drastically. It's going to help you with your digestion. It's going to help you with your sleep. It's going to help you with saving money on the right supplements. All these things. So lift heavy, lift short and focused. Train with intent, recover as a priority, and make sure you're doing cardiovascular fitness as well. But the fourth thing, which I would say is the most important thing, and we just push it to the side all the time, is your sleep. You need to sleep like it's your job. You need to be sleeping and aiming for 7 to 8 hours, good quality sleep, uninterrupted. If you're waking to go to the toilet, that is interrupted. So many people say, oh, I sleep well. Oh yeah, but I wake up once or twice to go to the toilet. Waking up to go to the toilet is common, not normal. And it is a sign that your body is under excess stress, and we need to work on that, because that is tanking your testosterone levels. It is smashing your testosterone levels. You don't want to be having screens before bed. Stop checking your emails before bed. Those things can wait till the next day. They can wait till the next day. Chances are the person that sent the email isn't going to read that email until the next day. You don't need to be scrolling Instagram. You don't need to be scrolling Facebook, TikTok, whatever your drug of choice is when it comes to social media. Get it off. Caffeine as well. No caffeine after 2 p.m. If you're a slow metabolizer, even before 12. Caffeine has a half-life of 5 hours. 5 hours to get half of that caffeine in your system, and it takes 5 rotations of that half-life to get 95% out of your system. What that basically means is that if you have a coffee at 7 a.m. one morning, the next morning, there is 5% of that Americano still in your system. So it's building up and building up and building up. We need to prioritize sleep. You don't need to be watching the news. You don't need to be watching Love Island. In fact, chances are if you watch Love Island, we're not going to make a good team when it comes to working together as a client. I will just hold that out there. No judgment. We need to be keeping the room cool. We need to be keeping the room dark. We need to be making sure that it is prioritized for sleep. Bedrooms are for 2 things, sleep and sex. You need to prioritize that. Stop using it for TV. Go there, sleep. I cannot emphasize how important sleep is. People underestimate how much they sleep. They say that they sleep 6 hours, but they're in bed for 6 hours and sleeping for 5 hours. When we look at Oura Rings, Whoops, Garmin's, Apple Watches, and we look at sleep trackers, it tells us the truth of what's going on. We need to have a recovering heart rate variability of aiming for 55, 60 and above every single night. That is going to tell us that we're getting a good level of recovery. Now, a study has actually shown that if you sleep for just 6 hours or less for just 2 weeks, that will lower your testosterone levels by up to 15% in just 2 weeks. Knowing that your testosterone will, on average, drop about 1% every year, even if you're not doing the things and you need to push hard to keep that up, that's like 10 to 15 years worth of aging in just 2 weeks from getting bad sleep. If you're one of these people that say, I can do well on 5 hours of sleep, do your bloods and implement, work with me for 6 months, and you will see a night-day difference of how bad you were performing and wonder, why didn't I implement this sooner? So they are the 4 things. Heal your gut with the right nutrition. Get good supplementation specific to you based on blood work and based on functional medicine testing. Train with intent and sleep like it's your job. If you need support with